You are now listening to 103.2 Dublin City FM, dublincityfm.ie, and the Conscious Living Show. Now, my guest today is Laura Rinnan-Koski, and she's an international life and relationship coach. She was born in Finland, grew up in Venezuela, studied in Boston and Miami, and now lives in Dublin. And Laura has co-authored a book, Quiet and Badass: Visionary Women Embracing Their Uniqueness to Create Impact. Laura, you're really welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Liz. It's so nice to be here again with you.
It is lovely because, you know, you have done so much since last we spoke, and you've co-authored this book, and the title of your chapter is Unstoppable Citizen of the World. Wow. Laura.
Yes.
That says a lot about you. You're right. Now, before we really discuss the book, I'm curious to know how your experience of living in 4 countries has impacted your life.
Oh yes. Well, I would say that it's impacted my life in every way. I would say that I'm basically a product and a mix of all the countries. Of all the countries where I've lived. Like I joke and I say that I'm, Finnish, Venezuelan, American, Irish.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel. I have bits of all of those places in me.
Yeah. What age were you when you went to Venezuela?
I was 5 months old. I was born in Finland, and when I was 5 months old, my family moved to Venezuela. So yeah.
Finnish, Spanish, English, and Italian.
Yes.
Yeah, and this really has helped you to be able to coach internationally. I mean, you have your bow, don't you?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because I've lived in so many different countries, and because I grew up with so many different cultures, I speak all those languages, and it's great because the vision that I've had, for a long time is to be an international coach and have clients all over the world. And now it's actually happening, which is so great.
And the positive aspect of COVID is that people now are really very familiar with Zoom.
Exactly. Yes.
So there's always a gift in each crisis, isn't there?
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, because of course during the lockdowns, all you could do is sessions online.
Yeah. You're quiet and badass. So what does badass mean to you?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I didn't come up with the title. It was the publisher. It was the publisher, Jenny Alberti, who came up with the title. But badass, basically, badass to me, right? Everybody has a different definition of badass. But to me, a badass is a person that has gone through a lot, and has survived and thrived. And that's certainly been the case with me. I have been through a lot, which I write about some of those challenges in the book, in the chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yes.
So, yeah.
What I like is the idea that you have survived and thrived.
Yes.
We have to dig deep, don't we?
Yes.
And sometimes these challenges that we are given, if somebody had told us maybe some years ago, you are going to be faced with this, based on where we were in our heads at that particular time, you would never ever have thought you would have come through in shining colors, would you?
No. And when you're going through extremely challenging times, Many times those challenges can feel so overwhelming that you just think to yourself, wow, like how am I going to get through this? Sometimes it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
But then, little by little, you persevere and you tap into the inner strength that you have within you. And then you get to the other side. And then when you get to the other side, you're just like, wow, I can't believe I just went through that. I can't believe I went through that. And not only did I go through that, you learn so much in the process. You learn so much in the process about yourself and about your inner strength and your inner resilience. And then when you get to the other side, you're like, wow, I went through this, and now I can help people on a completely different level, right?
I remember years ago somebody saying to me, in the old ancient times, you were put through initiation like Daniel in the lion's den, or you were put into a snake pit, and
yes.
Your initiation and your evolution was very, very quick as to how you handled that. But now in this life, it's a slow challenge where we evolve all the time, and the choice is to evolve, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, and it's good that you brought up the choices, right? Because when you go through extremely challenging times, and when you get to the other side, you always have a choice. You always have a choice of how are you going to look at what happened to you? What's the story that you're going to tell yourself about what happened to you, right? Because you could, if I wanted to, I could be really like upset and resentful and be like a total victim and think like, why did all these things happen to me? Like, it's so unfair. I've already been through so much. Why did more things have to happen to me, right? But I made the choice. But I made the choice of of using everything that I went through to get extremely strong in the process and to be able to help people on a completely different level now.
When did your aha moment come that said, like I see even Ida Deeger talks about it in her book, The Choice, as well, but when did the aha moment come that says, now look at here, Laura, you can either go into victim mode or you can choose to get stronger out of this?
Yeah.
Which is a
good. Well, it was actually like, it's funny that you ask about the aha moment, because it's actually a moment that I spoke about in the book. It was it was that moment, when I was going through very big health challenges, extremely, it was very overwhelming to go through that, and so many, like, it wasn't just one thing, it was several things at the same time.
Yeah.
And then when I, the first time that I met my Harvard doctor, as I call him, my Harvard doctor, he was trying to figure out when was the best time to do a surgery on me, right? And I needed several surgeries, right? So in that moment, like, it was just so overwhelming. I mean, I could usually hold it together, but that day I just broke down and cried, and then, he was very understanding and very compassionate. He's like, I understand that you're going through so much, and, don't worry, we're gonna find the best time to do all the surgeries, and you're gonna be fine, and all of that, right? And then, like, I cried so much that I basically cried all my makeup off, right? So then after that appointment, like, I had two choices there. I could either go home and, continue crying and feel sorry for myself, or I could, like, go to the bathroom and wash my face off and put my makeup back on and go back out into the world and go back to work, and that's the choice that I made. So I think that was like a determining moment for me, and an aha moment for me.
It's an interesting thing, because what seems to have happened to you is that you really, really trusted this surgeon. It's almost like you surrendered to a process. And yes, in surrendering came the tears and the emptying.
Yeah, definitely. And there was something about it. I mean, of course, Harvard Medical School is like one of the best medical schools. And I also studied in Boston. I studied at Boston University, and I lived on the side of Harvard and Cambridge. So Harvard was very familiar to me as well. Yes. So there was something about him. There was something about him that was very special. And it was one of those moments that really helped me. go through everything that I needed to go through. And there was something, there was something in his voice that, that was very reassuring. And I was like, okay, I'm in good hands.
Yes, yeah. And what I love to always even stress to our listeners is our vulnerability actually is our strength, isn't it? That when we can allow ourselves be vulnerable, we also allow ourselves be helped.
And definitely, and it doesn't get more vulnerable than going through major health challenges.
No, because once you go into the hospital and you get into those pajamas, I can assure you, suddenly you're vulnerable.
Exactly. Yeah.
There is something about how when you get into that hospital bed, you just feel so vulnerable. You're at the mercy, and you just, so really get what you're saying. Now, in your chapter, you mentioned an unusual word. Is it sisu or sisu?
Yeah, sisu. Yes.
Can you explain this word to your listeners?
Yes. So I spoke about the Finnish sisu, and Finnish sisu is basically it's this incredible inner strength. It's incredible inner strength, that you feel that helps you, beat the odds in all ways, right? And it comes, it's a Finnish word, it's a Finnish word and it's a Finnish concept. And it goes back, the Finnish people and Finnish history is, it's a tough history. A lot of wars, have been fought in Finland.
Yeah.
So Finnish people are very strong and they're very resilient. And of course the winters are very tough in Finland as well.
Yes.
So Finnish people have this Finnish sisu, which is this inner strength that Finnish people have. And for example, the Formula One drivers, they talk about the Finnish sisu, so they've made it, popular and famous around the world. But yeah, I mean, I definitely have the Finnish sisu.
Inherited from your grandparents by the family.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, my family. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yes. There was one line, and I just said, "Oh, this is really an important line." You no longer get stuck in the moment like you did in the past. So, what does stuck look like? And what do you do?
Yes, exactly. Like it's funny because don't get stuck in a moment. It's actually a U2 song as well. And being Irish.
Yeah. What do you do differently now? What do you do?
What do I do differently?
Yeah.
I move on faster. I used to get stuck. I used to get stuck in moments or and many times I would get stuck in pain. Whether it was, heartbreak or different pain, right? Because you can have emotional pain and you can have physical pain.
Yeah.
And I used to get stuck in that pain. But now, with life experience and everything, everything that I've lived, I'm able to move forward faster. Like when something happens, and if you fall down, you learn the lesson, whatever it is that you need to learn from that experience. And then you get up, you dust yourself off, and then you continue, right? Because when you fall, it's your choice. It's your choice how long you are. You choose to be down or like in a black hole.
Yeah.
So,
like it's not that you're saying that you dismiss the experience.
No,
you feel the experience and you allow the experience process through you. But you allow it process through you so that you can move on. Is that
exactly? Yes, but I do that faster now. Because it's very easy to get stuck in moments. It's very easy to get stuck, and especially getting stuck in pain. It's very easy to get stuck in pain. It's very easy to get stuck in heartbreak and be fixated on a person or a situation that didn't work.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that comes with experience.
It's very easy either to blame yourself or blame somebody else, but that keeps you stuck. Like the more we blame ourselves,
yes,
or we give another person.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why forgiveness is so important, and forgiveness is something that I talk about in my coaching all the time. It's so important to first of all forgive yourself, because many times the person that's the most difficult to forgive is yourself, right? And sometimes it's easy to forgive other people, but it's really, really important to forgive yourself about any mistakes that you feel that you've made, right? Because so many people sit there and beat themselves up over things that they feel that they've done wrong, so it's really, really important to forgive yourself.
You came to coaching, or coaching came to you? What way was it?
I think, that's a good question.
I often wonder, the way life comes and the way certain things present at certain times. So I'm just curious.
I think I was ready. I think both of us, I think it was, I think I was ready. I think I was ready, to become a coach when it came to me. And it's funny how it happened, the whole process of all these pieces coming together, because when I left Miami and I moved to Europe, first I went to Finland and I spent my first winter and my first Christmas in Finland with my family, and then my birthday was in March, and then for my birthday I one of the gifts that I got was an Indian head massage, right, which in Finland. So I went and I got the Indian head massage, and then the woman that gave me the Indian head massage, she had been trained by an Irish life coach, right? And I was moving to Ireland. So then I told her, "Oh, I'm going to Ireland." So she gave me the details. She gave me the details of the coach. So when I came to Dublin, I got in touch. I got in touch with this Irish coach, and and then I called her, and she told me that she was giving a retreat in a center called Chrysalis in Wicklow. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was a really, really nice center there before. So, and then she was giving it with a Finnish life coach, right? So it was an Irish life coach and a Finnish life coach. So I went to that retreat, and that retreat was life changing. That was the first time that I met these two coaches, and I loved it, and then I decided to become a coach.
Yeah, because Chrysalis was a wonderful center in those years, especially in the 90s, for all these different individuals that came through. So. Did you train then with this lady or with this Finnish lady?
Well, I trained with the Irish Life Coach Institute.
Okay.
I trained with the Irish Life Coach Institute here in Dublin,
Yeah. So so another powerful statement you make in your chapter. Everything begins and ends with us.
Yes.
How we relate, in a way, how we relate, the lens we see through. It was created in early childhood. So if we're continuing to see through that lens, we will continue to be caught in a loop, won't we?
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that I talk about a lot, and that I coach people on a lot, is improving the relationship that you have with yourself. Because many times people come to me looking for relationships, and then I tell them, okay, well, the first relationship we're going to look at is the one that you have with yourself. And so many times, people are telling themselves, incredibly negative stories, and their self-talk is incredibly negative, and then they don't understand why they can't find a nice relationship, right?
Yeah.
So you have to say, well, first of all, you have to love and accept yourself, right? Like that's the number one thing that you have to do. And then you have to look at your self-talk. Is it mostly negative or is it mostly positive? If it's mostly positive, great. Keep saying all the great things to yourself. But if it's mostly negative, find a way to turn it around. And one way of doing it is using humor. Humor is a great way of changing the dynamic and changing the energy, right?
Yeah.
And then look at the stories that you're telling yourself. Look at the stories that you're telling yourself about yourself, about men, women, relationships, everything. And stories, stories are stories. So if you're telling yourself a negative story, you can change it, right? Because you're the only one that can do it. Nobody else can do it for you, right?
But the problem, I think, with some people is they don't realize they're telling themselves a negative story.
Oh, I know. That's why one of the things that coaching does is it gives you awareness, right? Coaching is all about responsibility and awareness. People need to be take responsibility for their own lives, and they also need to, they also need to be aware. They have to have more awareness of their lives, right? And then once you become aware of something, you can't unaware yourself of that thing, right? Yeah. So coaching is really helpful in that way, bringing that awareness to people, because it's true. Most people don't think about, what are they, what kind of self-talk do they have? What kind of stories are they telling themselves? Because most of the time, people, they just keep on repeating the same thoughts that they've had, even if they're incredibly negative, and they don't realize how it's affecting them.
They don't realize maybe the impact of that story. They don't see the impact maybe within the relationships or their close relationships. They don't see it. But why is it so difficult for people to, let's say, be kind to themselves, respect themselves, be compassionate with themselves? Like, what is built into people that they have such a difficulty?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that one of the main reasons is that most people don't grow up talking about these things, right? Yeah. Most people don't grow up in families where their parents or relatives encourage them and tell them, listen, you're great. You can do anything that you want to do. Most people don't grow up like that, right? And of course, this isn't taught in school either.
No, definitely not. Well, teachers can't teach something. Teachers are human too. So they can't really teach something that they are not living, that they don't realize their own talk, their own stuff, or whatever it be. So really, when you think about it, like, everybody's human, but not, it's now there seem to be huge changes in society where people are thinking, hang on a minute, emotional intelligence is really, really very important. And how we speak to each other and how we speak to ourselves is very important.
Yes, definitely. And there's definitely been a shift in that now. People are becoming more aware and they're more in tune with these things now.
Yeah. Laura, you know what I mean? You give people an exercise to promote self-love.
Yes.
Can you share this?
Yes. This is one of my favorite exercises. So one exercise that I give all of my coaching clients, I tell them to write a list of things that they like or love about themselves, right?
Yeah.
So first I tell them that they should write 100 things that they like or love about themselves, and when they hear 100 things, they're like, wow, you're crazy. I can't think of 100 things that I love about myself. But then I tell them, listen, it's not important how many things you write in the list. You can write 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 things. It doesn't matter how many things are on this list. The most important thing is to actually do the exercise, right? And to actually think about all the good qualities that you have, like all the good qualities that you have, and how you contribute to the world and society and to other people's lives, right? Because if you can't think of good qualities that you have, how do you expect anybody else, to notice the good qualities that you have, right? So it's a very interesting exercise, and it's a very powerful exercise.
But you see, the thing about qualities, like, people live their day-to-day lives and they're going around.
Yeah.
They don't stop to think of, they can see qualities in other people.
Yes.
But, do you help them even look at the qualities and find the qualities in themselves? Like, they may not realize. Like, what was the most difficult thing? Let's say somebody comes to you and they're really struck with something. What is, generally speaking, the most difficult thing people come with?
The most difficult thing that people come with? Well, the most difficult thing for people is the self-love.
Yeah.
It's so ironic in a way, isn't it? Because self-love and self-acceptance, I would say, is the most important thing that we all need to do and on a daily basis. And it can also be the most difficult thing to do as well, And I think it comes back to most people did not grow up like this, right? And a lot of people think that it's they have this notion that it's narcissistic to love yourself, accept yourself, or something. Like people have like all kinds of I like strange ideas about it, right? Like, no, well, why should I love myself? Like, what, there's nothing great about me, or then they think that if they love themselves, they're saying that they're better than other people, and that's not what it's about at all. Like loving and accepting yourself it's about you. It has nothing to do with other people. It's about finding that that inner love and that inner acceptance that nobody else can give to you, right? Nobody else can give you all the selves, right? Self-love, self-worth, self-acceptance, self-esteem, all the selves. Nobody else can give that to you. So you're the only one that can give it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing.
But it is the most important thing, because when you think about it, if you turn it on its head and say, if there's conflict within you, there's always conflict outside of you. There can be peace in the world.
Exactly.
We deal with the conflict within ourselves first.
Exactly. That's why I say that everything begins and ends, with you, right?
Yeah.
Like with yourself, because it's true that if you have a lot of conflict within yourself, there's no way that you're going to have a peaceful life, right? Like a harmonious life.
Yeah.
The more inner peace you have within yourself, the better your life will be, right? The more aligned you feel within yourself,
and the more each individual does this, the greater the consciousness within the world, and therefore we mightn't be dealing with something of what we're dealing with right now.
Yes. But I think the world situation is definitely a little crazy right now, to put it mildly. But at the same time, I think that there's a lot of people that are waking up in a way and getting more awareness about themselves, and especially everything that we went through during the lockdown. I think it really changed people, and it made people think about things in a different way, and value things in a different way.
Laura, you know what? You're going to have to leave it at that. But where are people going to get your book? Where are they going to get it?
Yeah. So the book launches. The big launch day is the 23rd of September.
Yeah.
And so Amazon is the best place to buy the book. And on launch day, we're going to have a special price of 99 cents. So very affordable. And so you can go on Amazon, and the title of the book is Quiet and Badass Visionary Women Embracing Their Uniqueness to Create Epic Impact. And it's 18 of us in this book, and from the United States and Ireland and South Africa and Australia. So it's very international and full of inspirational stories.
And this is why in your chapter you're unstoppable citizen of the world. But Laura, where can people get you as a coach?
Yes. So my email is lauracoaching@gmail.com, and my website is laurarenenkowski.com, and I'm updating the English website, and the Spanish version is gonna be ready now in September as well. So lots of exciting things happening now. Yeah.
Laura, can you spell Renenkowski so that people actually get it?
Oh yes, Renenkowski. So RINNANKOSKI.
Absolutely fantastic. Look, Laura, thank you for being with me again. And
thank you.
You know what I mean? You're just so wonderful with all that you have to offer. So I can right imagine that you're unstoppable. Thank you so much to all our listeners to another episode of the Conscious Living Show with me, Liz Dillon. And stay tuned to 103.2 Dublin City FM and worldwide dublincityfm.ie for Donal O'Houlihan, who